They can abate our taxes anyway, can
They can. They are deciding whether or not they want to do 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. And so, this is, okay, so this isn't the regular statute. This is a 9G abatement where we have to do it instead of them.
Oh, okay.
So, to do 10 years is appropriate for the non-capital investment job.
Okay, motion.
Do I have a motion to second? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And I have two community grants, one for the Hoover City School Foundation and the other one for the Birmingham Holocaust Education.
Second.
Hold on.
Yes, ma'am.
On item number 2, I'd like to add, please.
Okay.
To that item, I want to put $2,500 to that item. Please.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else while we're here? All right.
Please move the items as amended.
All right. I have motion and second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Like this public hearing with the departments involved.
That was those two.
Okay.
That's the same, that's on the job incentive,
Okay.
on the 50 job, same
All right.
same as our regular tiered approach.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Anything?
No, sir. Merry
All
Christmas.
right. All right. Finance, y'all give me a point of personal privilege. I would like to introduce a gentleman to the commission, Mr. David Dada. He is the new UAB Director of Government Relations. He will be taking Seal Snow's place.
I told him the other day, he's not as good looking as Steve.
I told him that too. That's the third time I've heard that from over here.
Yes. Thank you so much, Commissioner Knight. Just wanted to come and say good morning to everybody. I assumed the role October 1st. Prior to this, I was serving as Deputy Director of the Mayor's Office Division of Youth Services. I'm from Birmingham, born and raised, graduated from Ramsey High School. And just happy to be a liaison between the university, the Mayor's Office, the City Council, and the County Commission. So anything I can do to help, please know I'm here to support. And thank you again for this time.
Great.
Thank you.
Anybody want to drill Mr. Dada this one? No, we'll wait for that. How about that? All right. Ms. Dixon.
Right here.
Oh, there.
Good morning, Commissioners. Item number 1 is our unusual demand report. Item 2, 3, 4, our normal purchasing agenda, purchasing exception, and encumbrance report. Item number 5 is our Regions Bank Visa statement. Item 6 is a PACA partnership with Jacksonville City Schools.
1 through 6. Do I have a motion?
Move the item. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Under Budget Management Office, we have one item under Budget Management for EMA. They have a couple of grants that they need to carry forward, and then also increase for a reimbursement for overtime for the Magic City Classic for item number 1.
Have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Under Travel, we have our multiple staff development, individual staff development, and our informational items.
Move the item.
Have a motion?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Board of Equalization. Do we have anybody on the board? The Birmingham Land Bank. This is an agreement with Birmingham Land Bank Authority to share photographs of properties and improvements.
I'll move it.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Thank you. Board of Registrars, we have a precinct location change, precinct 1150 to Adamsville Senior Center. Barry's out this morning. He's at a program for his child, but do I have a motion?
Move the item. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right. Developmental Services. Thomas, you got that one?
Got that. Good morning. We have 2 bids to present to y'all this morning for demolition case. We have 17 properties that need to be dealt with, and so we have 2 bids that we put before the commission this morning.
Are these, are there 2 combined for 34 properties, or this is just
No,
for 17?
properties. One has 10 and the other has 7.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And I will point out, Derek has bid this out 3 months ago and had no bidders, and they went back and scoured the universe and advertised more and got some bidders, so we're ready to get started on this demolition.
All
Thank
right.
you, Derek.
Demolition contracts, bids, item 1 and 2. Do I have a motion?
Move item.
Have a motion?
Second.
And a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Derek.
Well, we still got more.
Well, but those are the demolitions, the ones that
Oh, yeah.
we've been looking for 3 or 4 years. Thank you.
Well, if we had a hiccup in the tower, you would have seen it sooner.
Just appreciate it.
Are you doing the sell a statement of work
I
change?
am.
All right.
This is just a change order to extend the length of time so we can extend all funds. During 2020, we got a little bit behind. We still have some more things we need to accomplish, and we have to get the funds to do that.
I'll move the item.
Have a motion?
Second.
We have any problems with that? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, compliance office.
Yes, sir. This is Cricket Snyder. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
This is a contract that will allow the compliance office just a full range of a web-based library that is customizable to Jefferson County Commission to allow us to really send out up-to-date compliance communications through different medias, such as email, media clips, videos, cartoons, newsletters. And we'll be able to allow us to assist with specific compliance training for like new supervisor training regarding items such as HIPAA, conflicts of interest, gifts and gratuities, chain of command reporting, ADA. I mean, any type of compliance topic, this library will allow us to customize it for Jefferson County needs.
All right. Have item 1 under compliance office. Do I have a motion?
Move item.
Have a motion?
Second.
And a second. Any further discussion? Any questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right. On the tax collector, we have a resolution authorizing increase for appointed clerk for the tax collector in Bessemer.
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, under District 4, we have a grant to the city of Trustful. That's an infrastructure grant. Have a Alzheimer's community grant for $1,000. Do I have a motion?
Move items 1 through 4.
Have a motion?
You already have a second.
A second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, that concludes my report.
Okay. Administrative and Infrastructure Committee with Roads and Trans. You want to do that, Heather, or you want me to do it? You look pretty. Fleet focus, on-site training, asset work.
Yes, sir.
That's where we are.
So the first is for fleet training for their asset management software. The second is a speed ordinance for Sweetwater Way and Sunnyside Drive in Ware. At the moment, that's unposted and to post that at 25. Amendment number 1 for Rattling Corporation, which is software that we use for inventory management. The next is an Alabama PALS agreement for an Adopt-A-Mile with Train Inc. For Woodruff Mill Road between Hazelwood and Shady Grove Road. The next is the debris MOU for the city of Mountain Brook. And then we have the Walker's Chapel Bridge Replacement Project. And several acquisitions for right-of-way, and then the last is the cooperative agreement with the city of Birmingham for us to pave their portion of Grants Mill, and they're contributing funds for that. And then, did you want me to address the 2 new ones? And if possible, I have 2 additional agreements here. This is for a right-of-way.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I
Let's
move
do
1 through 9.
1 through 9.
Second.
And second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Now we have a motion for new business.
So moved to
Consider
consider.
it for 2 items
Yeah.
Yes,
for
please.
consideration. Let me look at them.
So moved.
These are right-of-way.
Right-of-way agreement.
Yep,
We all agreed, by the way.
On Morgan Road,
yes,
where we're getting right away from the lowest company.
yes, and then for an agreement for a sign.
These are the right-of-way agreements, it's, for
For the Lowe's distribution.
for Lowe's distribution, and that's something we'd already done. I was just checking to make sure, because I knew that was in the list.
Yes.
All right, we have a motion to consider 2 items of new business concerning right-of-ways.
Second.
We have motion for unanimous consent. All in favor say aye. Aye. 2 items for
I'll move
put
the
on the
2
agenda
items.
have been moved and second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All right, it's all done now. Very- Thank you. County Attorney.
Sir.
Got, ma'am? Yeah. Workman's comp claim, Roger Henderson. Resolution to approve.
Yes, sir.
We have deputies and assistant attorney pay resolution. 5% pay
Move
increase.
1, 2, 3.
Tax collector. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Widow O'Brien, Amendment 5, what is that?
That's additional monies added to the contract to get them through our
I don't have a
consultation for the American Rescue monies. We had it for the CARES Act stuff and extended there. So this is to extend money to them, for them to continue to be our advisors on our American Rescue Plan.
And the amount?
I'm on the wrong one.
I think it's
So he needs to
for-
amend his motion.
Who?
You, instead of 1 through 3,
Well, I mean,
it should be 1 through 4.
well, I move 1 through 5. How about that?
Oh, all right.
I think it's 400.
400,000.
I've also got one item of new business I'd like to add, Commissioner. This is a resolution to,
Let's
Let's,
vote on
let's,
that.
y'all killing us on these resolutions.
It's Christmas time.
Yeah, ho, ho, ho.
All right,
I
I
don't
move 1
think
through
so.
5 under county attorney's agenda.
All right, all right, Joe's moved, 1 through
I'll
5.
second 1 through 5.
And we have a second from 2 commissioners. All in favor say aye.
Aye. All right.
You have the floor.
I have one item of new business, but I think this won't make anybody upset. This is a resolution authorizing the commission president to execute the settlement agreement with Endo Pharmaceuticals. It's a settlement of a opioid lawsuit, and at the end of the day, we need to get these done. It's an agreement with the Attorney General's office, but in effect, we should have some $540,000 to be divided and used for opioid mitigation issues.
Okay.
I move for unanimous consent. Or second.
Move for unanimous
Either way.
consent, second. All in favor say aye.
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 Move
One
the-
item of new business, opioid settlement agreement.
And this is,
You said moved and second?
this is 500,000 to be divided.
It's agreement, the filing parties was the county, the sheriff's office, and the Department of Health. The monies will have to be put in an account until we figure out how we can use those strategies. The agreements have particularized uses of those monies, but we were the 3 filing entities.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. County manager, we'll let you handle it.
University of Alabama at Birmingham Purchase Option Agreement Amendment 1. This confirms that UAB has the option to purchase Cooper Green Hospital building at fair market value in the future prior to expiration of the option term.
I need to know. Are we extending the option? Or
It
is
was,
this-
it was never, it was always understood, at least by the county and those that were drafting this agreement, that those properties that weren't being used, they had the option to purchase it. They wanted to memorialize it in writing because they'd exercised a portion of it when they purchased that parking lot area. And so they just wanted to confirm that they had still had the option to purchase those other properties in the event they weren't used. So this is more form than substance.
Okay.
Now, is this the building, what you say, other properties other than the hospital.
It's
whole
really,
hospital.
it's form, actually, if you delve into the other documents, we actually could not do anything else anyway. They just wanted to have this memorialized.
I guess the ambiguity of this wording has got me bothered a little bit. The amendment confirms the UAB has the option to purchase Cooper Crane Hospital building fair market value in the future prior to expiration of the option term.
So what happened was that the purchase of the parking structure and the purchase of the hospital didn't happen at the same time. And so what they are trying to do is clarify that they still have the option to purchase the hospital because they exercised the parking lot in advance of that.
When does the option expire?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I'll have to get the exact term of that. I think it's 10 years. Something like that. I'll get the exact term
I
and let you know.
need to know, when it expires. If you just say fair market value in the future, it may be 20 years, they decide they want to buy it.
I'll pull the master and get the exact date for that. But there's also some other language in the deed that gives them that anyway. But I'll get you the number.
If you would just supply us a copy of the agreement.
Sure, I'll circulate that.
I'm for moving it to the agenda, but I just need to.
I'll move it pending.
Sure.
Pending
the explanation.
information from
We'll get that to
the
you.
attorney's office.
All right.
And that's us doing the appraisal to determine fair market value.
Right, we can't do that. We can't sell it unless it's ours. So we'd have to agree to that.
Do what, wait a minute, say that.
It'd be us hiring the appraiser to do the appraisal to determine the fair market value.
$500 there.
The next two are temporary salary increases for Ramissa Walton and Tricia. As you know, those directors for each of those departments have been vacated, and they are acting as the director, and I'm trying to help them out because they are definitely working overtime to help us out.
Move 2 and 3.
Okay.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We did do one prior to that. We did not vote on one either.
Well, I amend my motion.
and a second.
Yeah,
That's
y'all had a
what I was
motion
voting.
in a second.
So we move items 1 through 3, right?
1 through, he amended his motion, 1 through 3, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Item number 4, County Manager.
All right, this one, Commissioner, came from the Sheriff's Office, requesting to purchase 250 Lucas devices through the ARPA program, and we ran that to Widow Bryan's. One reason it's on here today is the bid that they were purchasing these off of will change cost after January 1st. So I wanted to bring it to your attention. This isn't the county manager's recommendation, but since the sheriff brought it up, I felt like you should consider it. The rules that Widow Bryan's pointed out to us we need to make sure we follow is to make sure we follow 2 CFR 200 and how they are purchased. I'm not sure if that's something we got to look at a little closely. Also, due diligence needs to be provided as to the need in, kind of countywide coordination with our other programs. In other words, is this the best way to attack the coronavirus pandemic? So this helps in some things. There's other ways to help. That's got to be well documented in the future in order to get ARPA money for it. And I asked Justin to come because I figured I'd mess that up. But Justin, did I say that right?
More or less, without a more thorough, detailed needs analysis or a way to show that this is an adequate and necessary response to the public health emergency, it changes which areas that you would have to charge us against. If a case can be made for that, it could be charged to the normal part of your ARPA allocation, but until that case is made, the safest place to charge us against would be our, what they're calling provision of government services, which is based on a lost revenue calculation. That amount that we would have available there currently would be about $6.5 million. So if we use the totality of this, that would reduce that amount by about $4.5 million.
All right, what is the, you know, and this is about the second or third time I've heard it, that the prices are gonna go up after the first year. This list at $17,980 each, how much is the price gonna go to? That this is such a rush?
I can answer Commissioner Knight, it's 7% as of January 1.
Okay.
Per device.
I was gonna say, too, that, I don't know if many of you all are aware of this, but, as a young woman in the city of Fairfield, that had a defibrillator, and anyway, it took a while for the ambulance to come, and anyway, it made the news. So my point is, with these Lucas devices, including, where I read that there was an inmate that died Saturday, is that correct? Okay. And could have been prevented had you had some intact. So I guess my question would be, based on your ask, what would you say is the number that you absolutely need? Obviously, is needed. So just trying to figure it out, because I wanted to make sure that, is it just for the jail? And so the response I received was that, no, it's throughout certain rural parts of the county. And that's when you don't have a government, especially a city government, I think it warranted my attention to know that. So you can tell me exactly what it is that you all absolutely need, being that they're about to go up at 7% per device.
Sure. Well, Commissioner, for those who don't know me, I'm Wayne Rogers from the Sheriff's Office. So we looked at it very carefully with the staff over the last few days. Our sort of bottom line number is 123, and I'll break that down for you. We believe that we need one. We believe it would be a good idea to have one in every county school. We have 50 of these devices now from a previous purchase. There are 57 schools where we have school resource officers. So we can place those 50 in the schools. We'll need 7 more to make one in every school. Mr. Jason Bellinger is here from NAFCare to address anything about the jail medical stuff. Jason, if you want to talk about, we'll let you know in just a second. Let me finish my numbers. So we believe that in the jail, it's best because as you know, Commissioner Scales, this past Saturday morning, they found a gentleman unresponsive at 5 a.m. and a deputy found him. It's obviously not medical personnel that are going to be doing those checks. The deputy found him. Had there been a Lucas device available, we don't know, but it's possible this 48-year-old man's life might have been saved. We believe he died of natural causes. He had diabetes, a couple things like that. But anyway, we think he might have been saved if there had been a Lucas device on that floor. But having one in the jail doesn't do you a lot of good. You need them close. So there are 9 floors in the Birmingham jail. There are 4 floors in the Bessemer jail. So 1 on every floor is 13 more. So that gets us to 20. Then we also talked very seriously with our lieutenants and captains in patrol division and said, okay, look, we know you have 220 patrol cars. There are 220 marked patrol cars out on patrol right now. We would love to have one in every car. But after talking to the patrol captains and so, we think the minimum number is 103. And Commissioner Scales and Commissioner Tyson, that addresses exactly the points that y'all had made, which is that covers our folks who are in the more rural areas of the county, places that are further from hospitals, folks who are patrolling further out. Commissioner Stevens, you have a significant portion of that in your district as well. Folks are out on patrol far away from hospitals where, and Mr. Belger can tell you a story about someone he came upon in a rural area a couple of years ago, where if he'd had a Lucas device with him, he probably could have saved the young man's life. And the gentleman died there on the side of the road because he didn't have one. So for those who don't know what a Lucas device does, it essentially does automatic chest compressions, so you don't have to do CPR. And I trained in CPR for many years. Could I do chest compressions for 20 minutes? They ain't no way. I would pass out myself, and somebody have to do them on me. So, but this Lucas device will do chest compressions for as long as you need them to be done. So we believe our minimum number that the Sheriff's Office needs is 103 for our patrol folks that are in the more rural areas, parts of the county that, as Justin's noting, as a provision of government to those parts of the county, we will be having Lucas devices in those 103 patrol cars, plus 13 for the jail, plus 7 for the schools. It's 123 is sort of the minimum number that we would request from the commission. Mr. Barker, do you have a question?
I thought you said 50 for the schools.
We already have 50 for the schools.
They have 50.
We have 50. We would reallocate the 50 that we have to the schools. So we would need 7 more because there are 57 schools that have SROs.
And if you look at it, commissioners, this will help people of all ages because we have had several athletes in the school system to die because of these machines that were not in the school system. And these are young 17-year-old guys. So you know your health is important. So we really do need them.
Wayne, you've had 50 deployed.
Right.
How often are you using those, and have they saved any lives?
We've only had them for 4 months, so we can't specifically point to anything that has saved a life yet, Commissioner. But we know from other sheriff's offices that we've talked to around the country, we know there have been thousands of lives saved by these Lucas.
Now, okay, I'm getting some confirmation from some lady within the department. Y'all used it a couple of 3 or 4 times,
Oh, is that
or maybe
so?
5 or 6 times.
So that may
You've
be
got,
right.
and they've worked.
And it worked.
And
Oh,
they're
it worked
doing.
great. And
So-
another thing they do.
There's a sheriff right here that's had hundreds of saves in Michigan.
Yeah, I understand now. I know what it does, and I know what it's saying. I guess the key, what we're looking for, is if we're going to do this, it needs to be placed where it will do the most good.
Absolutely.
We have so many ambulance delays throughout the county now.
That's why I said that.
So, I talked to Mayor Penny. Fairfield has experienced delays, and Commissioner Scales can verify that. Adger down that way needs help. If not, Justin, if not totally sheriff, I'm not so sure that we don't need to order a couple or 3 or 4 or whatever it would be in our very rural fire districts to put on the rescue, because if they don't have one, and you're not going to get an ambulance for an hour, hour and a half, you're going to need that. Now, do we need 123? That's a whole lot.
Do we not? How many went to
we
the?
bought 138 with the CARES Act. 50
Right, but those
to the
went to-
sheriff, and the others went to the fire districts.
To all the fire? Did every fire district get one?
Have any fire districts?
Everyone.
No.
Yeah,
because we have them all.
some that don't have,
they
they
all
don't
of
have them on all the rescue.
No,
Absolutely.
they should be on, that's the proper place for them. Let me ask a couple of questions. What's the maintenance on these Lucas devices?
We cover the maintenance and the training, Commissioner, for all 5 years. That's part of the price.
A price? Or
That is part of the price.
included? Okay. And what is the battery life on these
We
things?
cover the battery life and the suction cup for the 5 years of the device. It's part of the price.
Now, going back to you, Wayne, when you had that guy, did they try to do resuscitation on him?
They did.
Okay.
Absolutely. Jason might be better at answering that.
Yes. Good morning. I'm Jason Bellinger. I'm the Health Service Administrator over both jails with NAPCare. Yeah, when the gentleman over the weekend, they did a excellent job at trying to do CPR, trying to save this these 48 young men's life, I'd say. So the thing about, as you think about with the Lucas device, think of an AED. Okay, they're the same thing. They can save lives. If you ain't got an AED, you're in some kind of rhythm, you're gonna be in bad shape. All right. With the Lucas device, it's the same way. You set it up, and it delivers compressions. It can run off a battery for 45 minutes. It can also be plugged in after if the ambulance did get there. And there's been, I went to try to think back, because we have codes quite often at the jail. Most of these people are ill. And, every 3 months, there's probably been at least 1 or 2 that we've actually had to do CPR on. Sometimes we're able to be successful, sometimes not. But this is gonna be something that a deputy can apply, one of my nurses can apply, anybody over there, they can treat it like an AED, and it gives consistent compressions. It's got different settings to where if you need to do a ventilation and all this kind of thing. Wayne was talking about, I was out on 269 Highway in Birmingham. I was on the other side. I'd been working at Best when I was going home. I live out on the river. And anyway, there was a fire, 2 vehicles and a fire, and I heard somebody hollering for help. And you know, you gotta go. So I got out. One gentleman that we needed to do CPR on, after assessing, seemed like he was a little worse than the other guy. So we thought the other guy had a better chance. The deputy was there within 5 minutes, maybe 3 to 5 minutes. But Sullivan Springs was who responded about 35, 45 minutes later, somewhere in there. And I think both men had already expired, because there's only 3 of us. And I'll go and tell you, I can do chest compressions with the best of them, but I can't keep it up that long. And where you have a machine that can save somebody's life, it's just, when I look, we're trying to get accredited with the NCCHC, which is what kind of guides our practice as healthcare workers in corrections. So what they look at is deliberate difference, that kind of thing. So what this would do would add another layer to protect us from liability, because we're doing something else. We're doing something extra. We're going above and beyond because we have this machine.
But by the NCHC, it's not a standard of care yet, right?
No.
All right. Now, you said a while ago on when you had that these are ventilating devices. They're not, right? They're not ventilating.
No.
Right.
But they can be set up to where if you need to ventilate someone, it has different settings on this. What I'm saying.
It'll pause so you can ventilate.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Now, of these 50 that we dispersed, did we not put any in the jail?
So there's none of those in the jail.
Why we didn't put any in the jail already?
I don't know the answer to that, Commissioner.
I mean, that would be a good place, I think, for them.
Yep.
Would be to be in the jail.
Let me ask this question. The funding source for this, we are talking about federal dollars, right?
Correct.
Yes, Commissioner.
I just hope that we take advantage of this opportunity. That's all I can say. The money is there, and I will say this, not to, say anything inflammatory, but if I'm depending on a person who may not be physically fit to do chest compressions over an extended period of time, that should concern all of us, that we know that the likelihood of their survival rate is going to be very minimal. That's why I was asking what was the funding source, because the sale for me, to be very honest with you, was putting these in the schools and making sure that we as a county don't have a liability associated with if there is someone that needs that kind of help. We have to remember that folk who are being housed in the county jail, they did some things in most instances to get there. So sometimes drugs and other things attribute to their stay there. That means you come in and you already have some challenges with your health. I just hope that's why I asked the question. Really and truly, I should restate it. What was your ask versus what did you actually need? And I think your ask was 150.
Our ask was 250.
Was it 250? Okay, so that's why I was thinking if we reduce the number by half or a little bit over, it would at least show that you all were sensitive to what the commission was trying to do, which is to be a good steward of the dollars. But I can tell you that to learn that may have, and I know because we have media, but that it could have prevented that person from expiring, which is the reason why I said I didn't realize that we didn't have enough or any at this point in the jail, which we know that COVID is still prevalent, whether we, and you know, and then you got Omicron version of that coming now, that the jails, the senior living facilities, and those in the housing communities, those are 3 vulnerable communities. And so that's why I don't know, but it'd be left up to the commission. But for me, that was the sale, because I certainly wouldn't want for us to have federal dollars, not general fund dollars, but federal dollars that we could have used in that regard. But again, the ask is $250, and that's why I asked, could you live with, which is $123.
That's right, and the $250 was based on equipping every single patrol car, which is 220 patrol cars. We're now saying we can live with 103, because that's based on analysis done by our patrol folks of which patrol cars are in those areas where the Lucas devices would likely be more needed.
When we were asked to bring the facts today, we finished a call yesterday with the largest ambulance provider in the state of Alabama. It's 45 minutes if the call has not been canceled. There is 0 coverage in West Harrison, Alabama, right now. So I'm not sure which among you falls into your responsibility. 0 coverage.
Well, I think what we're trying to get to is an appropriate number here. I agree that it should be in the jail. I agree these things probably ought to be at the senior citizen centers if we can do that. I agree that there should be some in the rural areas. I don't think we need 250. I think 123 is a large amount. So, I mean, I'm just, we got this, and it was 250. Within 24 hours, now we're half of that. So I would like to get to a number that we're taking care of the citizens, and I agree. CPR over a long period of time, I've done it many times, and it can be done if you've got enough people there. This is a device that can help in some ways, but it's not a end-all be-all device. So to put one in each sheriff's car, there's a good chance that they'll be in that car and never be used. Hopefully not, I guess. But if you need them, you need them, especially in the AEDs and Narcan is probably what you need and everything.
Right, and then y'all know within the last 3 months, we've had 2 lives saved on Narcan.
But I think that's the whole purpose of Commissioner, why it changed. I think because, like for myself, I asked the question, have you spoken to other commissioners? And my understanding, that was the consensus, is that the number needed to be reduced and significantly reduced. And that's why, so I don't, especially for public consumption, don't want to make it appear as though, hey, will you change this overnight? I think that to make sure that all of us had a mindset to move forward with it, that there needed to be a drastic cut. And that's the reason why I wanted to know from the presenters, what is it that you actually can live with? And so I think if more could be provided, they would prefer more. But I will say this, what I wouldn't want, and this is why I think we wouldn't be fiscally responsible, is if we don't approve it and then we turn around and say, hey, here's a justifiable need, but now the justifiable need is at 7% greater than what we could have had in December. That's basically what my concern is. I'd rather for us to have a number we're comfortable with at a rate that is doable, rather than you wait until first of the year and you're looking at 7% increase over something that we could have had a cost savings. And that's basically, so I wanted to make sure that that's where I'm coming from about this 123, and an effort, a deliberate effort to make sure that when this was presented today, that it had been looked at more comprehensively than maybe it had been before.
Commissioner Knight, but then Commissioner Stevens, then you said that maybe we can raise it up a little bit over 123.
No, what I was getting is that each of our volunteer fire districts or our fire districts, they receive one. And Mount Olive, just use that as an example, has 2 stations, cover a 40-mile territory. And we either need to get another one for some of our rural stations that are so far separated, or we need to put them in a sheriff's car, and you've got to have your deputies on patrol in their area at all times. Now, when you say 123, are you going to make sure all of the river beats have one, or one river beat's going to have, because that Warrior River's a long road?
My understanding from speaking with the patrol captains and lieutenants is who gave us this 103 patrol cars number. And those are the patrol cars that are patrolling the more rural parts of the county where it's more difficult to get an ambulance to. There's no hospitals close by. That's what those 103 patrol cars are.
It's key because they don't have any.
Right.
You're giving them a service that they do not have.
Right.
And it's much more important, and all lives are important.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're in Birmingham, your chance of getting help is much greater than it is if you live in Adger or Alliance or someplace like that.
Oh, yeah, if you're out on the expressway out there, you got 3 hospitals within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a little different
So,
than if you're out
so
on
you're
the
gonna
river.
let Birmingham, you're gonna let Bessemer, you're gonna let Hoover, the Vestavia, all the ones, Gardendale, the ones who have that capability. You're going to go outside of that and put these in places that are truly needed.
That's the plan, Commissioner.
And you talk, even in the city of Lipscomb and Brighton?
That's right. Lipscomb and Brighton, where the places where our folks are primary patrol, those folks will have Fairfield, Center Point, places like that.
So the 123 does not include the fire districts?
Does not.
Because the fire
But
districts.
if he put it in a car out there,
I think it
As
still need to be in the fire district. I do. I really do.
I've got
really
volunteer fires that don't have them.
I think 150. I think it need to go up to 150. I really do.
How many
we don't
senior
have that in the
centers?
fire district.
How many senior centers would we be looking at?
He's got 30 senior centers.
19 senior citizen center districts.
But not all of them need them because they're not all, I mean, if they're in Trustville, you don't need one in Trustville, don't need one in Vestavia. So I think it's an arbitrary number to say 150, but I think it's something that should be looked at further, and my biggest concern is that they're not in the jail. I mean, even on the base floor on intake, why would you not have one down there if you had an immediate, but my biggest concern is that I don't want the federal government and OIG coming up and saying, oh, you didn't prove that you needed this, and then Justin's going to go to jail because he didn't do his job. I want to make sure the due diligence is there and that show cause. Right now, I don't see, I'm going to agree with Joe, 250, I don't think you show cause for 250.
Right.
I think there's a happy number, and I'm not sure exactly what that number is. It'd be good to quantify exactly what the number is. So I'd almost propose, if we could do it between now and Thursday, that number come up. I don't mind passing this to the agenda. If we have a number by Thursday that says, here's how many fire districts actually need it, here's how many floors, including intake.
Yeah, I've got a half a dozen in one book.
You have something in.
I would ask that,
Yeah, but I think, bear with me just a moment, but to your statement, it sounds as though it's already been quantified. The only thing that is lacking is what you were talking about, Jimmy, in terms of if we looked at those volunteer fire districts, and if we looked at those senior centers that are in need of, and Dr. Hamilton, I think, can advise us in terms of that, just a simple call you can make to find out those who need it, those who don't.
Well, but that's determining what fire departments or volunteers already have those devices, and who doesn't. So I think it's a little bit more involved.
No, but here's what I'm
than that.
saying.
And
If
Chris
he's-
has that.
Right, but listen to what I'm saying. If the sheriff's department has already quantified the 123, sounds to me that we will actually be over 123 We just need to get a confirmation of those areas of concern that we're talking about in terms of
Yeah,
senior centers.
the number I would talk about is actually would be over 123.
Right.
Because we had adding the senior centers
then-
in the areas of need.
So then, Mr. President, then I would make a motion that we advance this item to the agenda with the understanding that those two outstanding concerns that we have a definite number in terms of what that looks like, and that we bundle that all into one.
That's what I'm saying.
We have a motion.
To motion to do that, but I also want Justin to be able to say that there is a reason that Wood O'Brien would be comfortable with, that we'd be comfortable with, showing that there's just cause for that device in that location. So OIG doesn't come back.
Yeah, if we
back
could
on
get
us.
your analysis for the 103, and I think if we could look at that with where the volunteer fire departments are, we might could
Or
reduce.
the other fire departments.
Reduce a
Right.
few of the cars, but look at that holistically and then put a number
So
in.
you want me to?
I'll make a
you want me
motion.
to- You want, no, I've already made it. You want me to amend my motion?
To a number to be determined, but on
After,
Thursday's meeting.
well, after looking at the fire district.
So
and the
we
senior
advance it,
citizen.
Mr. President, we're saying we'll advance it to the agenda with the amendment that we receive justification from Wood O'Brien from the county manager's office to justify the number of Lucas devices needed.
Along with other resources that'll be necessary to quantify the need. Yes, ma'am.
And look at, make sure.
I'll
we
second
look
that.
at-
Okay, you will second that.
We have
Did you
a
get
motion
all of that
and a
in the middle?
What model of devices are these, John?
Lucas 3.1, newest version. Same one that Wood O'Brien approved last year.
And make sure we look at those
If
fire
we put
district
them
and
in the senior center, is there,
Yeah.
I just don't know, are there people that can be trained to use?
We take care of all that.
All right, and the question that I have is, we have so many senior centers, and
They got
some of them
young
are in unincorporated areas,
Right.
and that I can see where they would, but some of those unincorporated areas have pretty good fire districts,
True.
and there's good response time.
Yeah.
So it's gonna take,
Mr.
a little
President.
time, Chris, to, when you leave here, you're gonna get on the phone and check and see how many fire districts, I know Mount Olive probably, and it can be either or. It can be either you get it to the other fire station in Mount Olive, or you put it on the sheriff's car. If you put it on the sheriff's car, you gotta be responsible for being there.
Right.
Mr. President, did we move the item?
We
Voted
did.
on it? We voted on it?
Vote.
I thought
We did not
just-
vote.
Yeah.
All in
we just
favor, say
voted.
aye. Thank you.
Okay.
So, there's much more to be discussed on.
What did we vote on? What was the number?
We didn't have a number, because it seemed like the
Move
number
to the
may
agenda
exceed what we were talking
on
about.
amount to be
President.
determined. Yes, ma'am.
Who's gonna look at the fire district and the senior, Chris? So I'll contact you. I will contact
He's
you.
got them all. He did.
If I may-
I know it, that's
Just
why.
so
I'm
we know on our
contacting
side, Commissioner Stevens, President, so right now, we are acknowledging that we need 123. We're gonna get with the senior citizens and the fire
Fire
departments
district,
to
yeah.
determine what we're adding to that number.
Absolutely.
Is that correct?
Right, and
Right.
determine the
Right.
need with Justin.
you. Yeah,
And we may say we don't need as many in the sheriff's cars if we put them in the fire department. We gotta kind of look at it
That's
holistically.
my thing. I just don't know if we
Can't
need
put them
one.
both places.
If that sheriff's car in Blount County with that deputy at home, where's that Lucas device gonna do that there? You know, don't they take their cars home?
I think at some point we get to maybe a not to exceed number, and then to be determined, so if we end up with less, then, I mean, it just.
Take your device there?
It's
And the
got to be a
sheriff-
genuine need, but we
yeah,
need
and the
it.
sheriff department don't cover all areas, so it's still gonna be a need out there. I don't see it going down. The sheriff department don't cover all out there.
It's good,
in
it's good.
those
We gotta
areas.
have it.
We can make sure.
I'm gonna make him ask us some more.
Sorry.
Can you bring one Thursday and let's do a demo and Barnett, are you gonna be here Thursday?
You search for volunteers.
What we need to do is,
We
this
need to
needs to
be-
be a holistic approach. That means we need to look at the need
Yeah.
created by coronavirus.
Right.
We understand that there is a need. The sheriff department may not be the proper tool to administer that need in all areas, okay?
Right.
So we need to look at the senior center, we need to look at the fire districts, volunteer fire departments, those areas that lack this coverage. And if the sheriff's department in certain instances is the tool for it, that's where we need to go with it. But just because the sheriff asks for it doesn't necessarily mean it's all going to the sheriff.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Y'all know, y'all have heard the sheriff say many times, his interest is keeping the county safe for everybody. That's what we want.
That's where we are, Commissioner Knight.
Justin, how many Lucas devices have we purchased so far?
138 were purchased under CARES Act. 50 of those went to the sheriff, the remainder went to fire departments throughout the county.
138 already.
Yep, 138.
How's that compared to what other areas are doing?
I think it's one of the leaders in the nation, if I remember right, talking to Witt and based on what they've seen across the country under CARES Act. I saw that Montgomery County or Baltimore County, Maryland, which has about 24,000 people in us, they headline purchasing 48 for their fire department. So I would expect that we're well ahead of that.
I want to say one more thing. I have one of my nurse practitioners actually work as ER at Shelby, and we were talking about the Lucas device, and she's like, oh yeah, I was looking at it, and she's like, oh yeah. She said they come in all the time, the paramedics, out that way, Shelby County, come in all the time with that Lucas device going, because it's like I said, it's continuous compression.
Well, that's what it's designed for. It's designed to do CPR on somebody in transport.
So it's being used, and it's.
I get that, but you're not gonna put somebody in the back of a sheriff's car and do
Actually,
CPR.
we transported 11 patients last month to the hospital, sheriff deputies.
Not doing CPR.
I'm sorry?
Doing CPR in the car.
Absolutely.
Wayne?
He's right.
All right, that'll be on the agenda for Thursday. We need to get there and get a definitive.
Yes, sir.
On
Same
that?
place. Okay, I'm sorry, I apologize. Thank you for your
No,
time.
you're good. Thank you. Commissioner, you want anything else? What else you got?
I just wanted to bring up something for your information. With the World Games coming up a few months ago, Mr. Claude Nielsen with the Coca-Cola Company approached me, and I'm guessing some of y'all, about working with local businesses and governments to put together a team to enhance the right-of-way coming into Birmingham on I-65, I-59. And to do that, most cities do that, say you got an interchange in Trussville. Trussville can go to Aldott and get a permit to mow the grass along the interchange and maintain the trees and put shrubbery and that kind of thing.
Good night.
So this group has put together a plan a few years ago, and it went to the state, got permitted, then it kind of fell through. But anyways, they started back up. And I just wanted to bring that to your attention. UAB is committed to funding. Birmingham, Burley is committed to funding. I don't know about the Tourism Bureau, but they're being asked to help fund it, and they're asking us to help fund the maintenance of this. The private businesses are going to put up funding to do all the plantings and remediation, and then what they're asking us to do, once it's planted and look good, we would have and maintain a contract to keep it mowed and keep the litter picked up. And one reason I wanted to bring it up today, again, time is of the essence. Planting trees, you got a window during the winter time frame. And I think it's a great project, but what has to happen next, we would have to be the permit holder for Aldott or some other government agency. Aldott's asked it, and would be us. And then we would have to do a bid to hire someone to do the mowing. Our crews don't do that type of mowing. We have big tractors with bush hogs. This type of mowing would be like a finished mower or a, what do you call them?
A lawnmower?
A zero-turn mower, yeah. And so, I just wanted to bring that to y'all's attention. We are working with Aldott for the permit, And once that gets to a point, if y'all want to consider it, we'll bring it back to the commission and then we can.
Could you bring it at our next meeting with the,
Yeah,
whatever the agreement would be?
I don't know if we could have I don't know if we'll have it done by then, but if we do, we will.
Or do they need a resolution just saying we're supportive and then to be followed by a agreement, official agreement? Or just wait for the
I think we'll bring a resolution at the next commission meeting.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I
I'm
think
gonna bring
we'll-
it up, and it'd be like up to 200,000 for our part, probably somewhere in that range.
Okay.
I know the commission board yesterday, we committed some funds yesterday to do that.
Yeah.
This is something that's not only for World Games, it would enhance, but this is something for every time somebody comes here, they're gonna see a new stadium, a new legacy. And now we wanna see a lot of something different than what we have.
Well, I'll tell you,
And lighting is,
well, I will tell you that once, I looked at the information, had the opportunity to meet, with Mr. Nielsen, I was thoroughly, impressed with the private sector support that's already there, and the fact that you're looking at 5 entities coming together, which to me would give more of a regional cooperational type of effort. You understand? And it's not just putting everything on the county. I'm understanding everyone received a copy of the information. But I look to be very candid with you. I'm looking forward to that. I didn't know about the project years ago, but we need some other folk that's responsible for what happens in our central part of Jefferson County.
Right.
And everyone looking at all roads lead to a destination. And as a matter of fact, I brought up about the police and fire games, because I think we need to not only look for this year, but when you're talking about sustainability, maintenance and so forth, you got to have more than just one event that you're preparing for, which could justify it. So hopefully we will have it on the next agenda. We need to.
we'll get
I
it
agree.
together.
While everybody is happy to participate.
Well, it's got UAB, we got City of Birmingham, us, Convention Bureau,
Aldine committee.
Aldine, the state, Alabama Power, so I mean, it's more than just,
Yeah.
Well,
It's a lot.
at the mayor's
Corporate.
meeting the other night, talking about the interstate lighting that
Right.
they finally
Right.
have the agreement with, so I'm
Nice.
looking forward to that coming up.
Excellent, thank you.
Yep.
Next agenda.
Mr. Cox.
Good morning, Commissioners. Community Development and Human Resource Services, we have nothing from Cooper Green. Mr. Davis from the Corner's office. Yes.
Good morning, Commissioners. We have 2 items on the agenda. These are renewals of service contracts that the county has with UAB. The pathology services contract has been in effect for 40 years now, the top service contract for 30 years now. I believe it's serving us all well. Does anybody have any questions?
move 1 and 2.
Second.
It's been first and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Department of Community Service and Workforce Development, Dr. Hamilton.
Good morning, Commissioners. We just have one item this morning, which is a resolution authorizing the Commission President to sign the Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report for program year 2020.
Do we have copies of that?
It's in Minitrack, but I can print it and send it to you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Sure.
Move the item.
Second.
The item's been first and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That's the end of my report.
Commissioner Scales.
All right, Mr. President, we have, for Public Works, Community Services, and Government Relations Committee, we have one item, and that's Baird contract, and this is an asset management program 2022, and this is in regards to sewer services, including qualified generator contractor construction services for immediate repairs to any of the wastewater system facilities. Do we have any questions as it relates to that? And I don't see David Dennis, so I don't know, maybe that would be you, if there are any questions for the county manager.
Well, the way I read this is an on-call contract for $2.2 million.
Yeah, this is Dave. I'm online. Yeah, this is an annual contract we do that's on-call services.
Do we pay per call, or is it, we give them $2 million whether they do any calls or not?
No. It's set up for structured pricing for things that we typically run across, and so that's why we bid it, so we can have those prices set ahead of time as opposed to doing an emergency and then having to negotiate those in the middle of an emergency.
How often do we need these services?
We've been averaging around that amount every year. So part of it is, things that really rise to the level of emergency. Others are things that just can't wait. So we've been running about that, but it's far better to do that, negotiate, do it this way as opposed to negotiating either way.
What would be a type of emergency you would use it on, David?
Things like the flooding that we had in Hoover, that we use this contract for those sorts of things. The others can be a lot smaller than that, where we have a collapsed pipe that's serving 5 houses in a subdivision. It may not necessarily be something where the county would want to declare an actual emergency, but to those 5 houses that don't have sewer service, it's an absolute emergency. So it's from small to big.
How about when some other utilities working and they, like we had in Hoover last year, somebody damaged your sewer main and shut down, I believe, Highway 150. Does it help you with that kind of problem?
Yeah, any kind of unexpected damage that we have, it's pretty much there to address that kind of thing.
Sometimes, when I brought that up, oftentimes those costs are recouped from whoever did the damage.
I moved the item.
Second. Has been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. We have actually 7 items as noted as 8, but we have 7 items that are glitch in the system. So you have Historic Bethel Baptist Church Community Restoration Fund. You have that on there twice. So we actually have 7 items.
Items 1 through 7.
Second. All right, 1 through 7, and we have a motion and it's been seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All right, that's all we have for this. Do we have anything more to discuss in the meeting today? It looks like Mr. President has stepped away. I'm sorry. Okay, new business?
Potentially, if y'all choose to, it doesn't have to be, if I can explain it. We have an architect signed up to design the dog panel. Working with the Humane Society in that group, and costs have gone extraordinarily high. So we thought it'd be prudent to hire someone to help us evaluate those designs and that cost to see if we could do some cost engineering and save some money. Tricia had rushed us through. We just got it back to the personnel board for $7,000 to hire someone to do a peer review. We could add that in new business. It will just save us the weeks.
Madam Mayor, for consideration, new business, put the evaluation on.
Yeah, but so that means that we need to, at this point, do we need to do a roll call vote, or how do we need to proceed?
In committee, you all just.
Okay, all right, but I'm just saying because it's an item of new business for the county manager's office. So at this point, you're saying that, I thought we needed to, first of all, have unanimous consent, which obviously we do, to bring it before us. Then now we need to vote actually on the item.
I thought that's what his motion was.
We got a motion to bring it up for new business.
Okay.
And a second.
All right, so we got a motion to, it really is unanimous consent for item of new business. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, now the item is before us, so.
Move the item.
All right, the item has been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
President has returned and ready to take over the meeting.
Looks like the meeting's over.
Let's see, so
Thursday will probably be will unless unforeseen circumstances, be our last meeting for this year. Derek. It will be Derek's last meeting, and that's getting there. And Derek, are you still over there? You don't?
I'll make make sure she comes.
She left, make sure she comes, please. Want everyone to remember that we appreciate every county employee that we have, and that the policies that we put in place are the ones that give you your job security, and you're able to help the citizens of Jefferson County. And we're coming out of Thanksgiving into Christmas, and we just want to say thank you. We appreciate you, and we look forward to working with you next year.
Don't forget about picking our turkeys up tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
It's
Monday.
tomorrow,
Monday.
20th.
It's the 20th.
20th. Don't forget, we have the delegation meeting tomorrow, and we also are distributing the school checks. It's 10:30.
Yes, sir.
So everybody be here. Bye, Joe.
Bye, man.
We're adjourned.